Hi, my name is Liu Wong. I'm from New York. I was born in England, but I've ended up here, so I'm British and American and Chinese. So I'm the Dean of City Seminary of New York over in Harlem, Central Harlem, and I also direct the Walls-Ortiz Gallery there. And I studied here. I got my doctorate at Teachers College, so a lot of the work that I've done in creating the curriculum, thinking about how our students are formed and learn and process, has been really impacted by transformative learning. Thinking about individual transformation and community transformations, and those connections to actually theological formation and spiritual formation. So yeah, it's been a really interesting context to apply principles of transformative learning and really see what works, what doesn't work, and how we can kind of grow and stretch our understanding of what this theory means and could mean. I have particularly worked with more holistic definitions of transformative learning, and particularly arts and spirituality related understandings of transformative learning, because I think that really attends to all of us, our whole beings, rather than just simply our cognitive or rational ways of changing or growing. What I would like to see is really more dialogue with perhaps other streams of transformative learning that may not have come from, let's say, a North American perspective or European perspective, but really drawing from the riches of other expressions and understandings of how transformation happens, and really seeing that transformative learning as a theory kind of is more robust in engaging with other understandings or ways of being in the world. So I'm interested in transformative learning as a kind of a framework for understanding change for individuals and for communities. And particularly, I think I'm interested in kind of the direction that transformation is not for, is towards a more open, more inclusive, more, I guess, socially just, I hope, end to learning and transformation. I came across transformative learning within my coursework at the doctoral program here in AEGIS at Teachers College. In terms of what I hope to see it go, or where I'd like to see more connections, I was privileged to be able to host and organize the pre-conference on learning cities on Wednesday, and then also host a transformation space on learning cities and the connections with transformative learning. And I think there's a lot of emphasis, at least in the learning cities field, that learning is kind of the center for change, both kind of a bottom-up and a top-down process within kind of an urban context. And often, you know, these conversations happen in silos, and so the transformative learning scholars and practitioners are really interested in very similar things, but nobody's speaking together. So that was an opportunity for us to kind of gather and start a conversation where people could start seeing how their interests and their understandings of change and transformation overlapped. And I really look forward to this being kind of the first step for a deeper and more profound exploration, I guess, between scholars and practitioners in these two fields. Okay. So the group of people that I organized this pre-conference with were all my classmates from the AEGIS 22 cohort in the doctoral program here at Teachers College. And it's such a rich or a unique thing to be able to talk to people who are in so many different contexts, whether they're in coaching or community college or in healthcare or all of these different professions. But they're really caring about change and people and transformation. And I think being part of this community is being able to speak to people who understand the language of change with this framework, even though I'm in a theological education setting and they're in healthcare, but we're actually talking and trying to understand how change can happen in all these different contexts. So I think it makes the conversation interesting, but it's also great to have a community that kind of gets what I'm saying and is willing to walk with me as we kind of explore the nuances and what could be also in terms of the evolution of transformative learning. I would say that my experience I keep referring back to studying here. Being in a cohort with people who are really different from different walks of life, and being able to be formed together to share this language and to be reflective of ourselves as learners and leaders, and coming to a point of starting to recognize myself not only as a practitioner but as a scholar was, I think, a really important turning point in my studies here. And then even in my practice. I was working at the same time as studying, but I think that little switch of being with a group as we kind of grew into an understanding of ourselves as reflective scholars and starting to ask questions and do more research and really think on a meta level about our work. I think that was a really powerful experience, and I would attribute it to, I think, growing with my cohort and my professors here at Teachers College. So I don't know, it's supposed to be a commercial for them, but it really was an important time that I grew as a, as a professional, as an educator, as a learner, and even as a mother. I had a kid in between my defense and my field work, and I came in with a 6-month-old and a 4-year-old. So I think I grew in knowing who I was as a leader, as a learner, and as a mother, and I think I came out just like a different person at the end of that time. So what makes me excited? I mean, I love New York, so this is where I was, this is the institution I came to know transformative learning, and the professors are, all, people who have really been mentors to me. But I think the conference here, I think I was able to be a little bit more active this year than in previous times in being able to bring the pre-conference in collaboration with others. And also I was part of the arts steering committee, and just to integrate things that I care about and love into bringing it into intentionality within this conference, to invite people into spaces of reflection and of just processing in expressive ways. It was great to have a role to play, to really invite people into exploring transformative learning and making connections and making meaning in kind of different ways than maybe we had done or I had been a part of previously. So yeah, I think it was a really good experience, a learning experience. It was a lot of work and I think I might have driven some people crazy in the process, but I think I appreciate that the group really has been working together, and I think because we're all speaking a similar language of understanding that whether even the conference planning was disorienting, that we can all have this common understanding of reflection and transformation in the way that we grow, in the way that we work with others in the future. So takeaways, I think it's good to be with community that speaks the same language and to meet people. I think one impression that I had is that the International Committee did a really great job bringing a lot of other people from different parts of the world here, and I think that's one aspect that has been, an area that I thought we could grow in, and it was really good to see that happening. So just, stretching and broadening this understanding of what transformative learning is and having a wider variety of conversation partners, I think I'm looking forward to continuing to have that in this time.